You boot up a fighting game, you pick the coolest character, you jump into your first online match in less than 30 seconds, and you've already watched your character get juggled around in the most longest combo that seems like it's never going to end. And before you really get the grasp what actually happened, the match is already over. You lost. And for millions of players, this is their first impression on fighting games. So it's kind of not surprising that you see so many people just walk away and give up on the game entirely, even before they even got to learn it. So it's no surprise that so many people quit fighting games after only playing it for a week or so. So it's not surprising that a lot of people walk away from fighting games after a handful of matches. Unlike almost every other game out there, fighting games don't just ask you to play, they demand you to study. Hey, my name is Denzel, and today we're going to be talking about why it's so hard for newcomers to get into fighting games. And before we continue with this video, guys, make sure you like and subscribe because we're so close to 400 subscribers. Now, let's get on with the video. Every few years, a new fighting game gets launched with huge excitement. Street Fighter, Tekken, Mortal Kombat, Guilty Gear, even anime fighters like Dragon Ball Z. Launch week is incredible. Thousands of players flood online, streamers everywhere. Tournaments are packed. Everyone wants to learn. But then, something strange happens. About a month later, most all those players are gone, and the people that are still going, they are usually the same dedicated veterans that are in this community and that have been grinding this genre for years. So, why does this keep happening? Why can't games like Call of Duty, Fortnite, Overwatch, heck, even League of Legends continue to attract new players, while fighting games almost seem impossible to get into? The answer isn't just difficulty, it's how these games teach players, or more accurately, how they don't. So we all know the first problem when you're first learning a fighting game. You don't know any of the controls and you're just mashing buttons. So kind of imagine it like this. You never played basketball before, and just imagine your first ever game, you're going up against Michael Jordan or LeBron James. Honestly, that's what most fighting games feel like, bro. You hop into training mode, you learn a combo or two, you get a brief understanding of your character, and you think you're ready for online play, but no, you're getting destroyed. You're getting your teeth clapped, bro. Like, I'm sorry. There's genuinely levels to this, bro. And like for the tutorials, like yes, they teach you the basic, like the punch, kick, how to do some moves. And yes, the tutorial does teach you how to punch, kick. No, teaches you like all the basics of the game, but like that's about it. And most fighting games do have combo trials, but like that's about it. And then there's also plenty of things that you don't know about that they don't teach you, like playing neutral, safe jumps, hit confirms, and etc. And meanwhile, most of the time, your opponent knows what they're doing. And it feels like every mistake that you make, you just get punished for it. If you jump in too much, anti-air. You throw a random attack you whiff, you get punished. You keep on mashing those buttons, you get counter hit. Wake up recklessly, punished again. And it starts to feel like you're not even playing a game at all. And it's more like taking a test that you low-key forgot to study for. And another big problem is the illusion of fairness. And one of the biggest reasons why fighting games feel so frustrating is because they are incredibly honest and they will expose you as a player, bro. In a shooter game, sometimes you lose because your teammates are trash, or you got caught off guard because someone's camping in a bush, or maybe the other team just had better weapons than you, or maybe you get third-partied. And there's a plethora of reasons why you may have just lost that game. In team-based games or in any kind of shooter genre, there's always someone to blame. But in fighting games, there's nowhere to hide, there's no teammates, no random loot. If you lose, that's because you got outplayed. You're not good enough. And for many players, not having someone to pin the blame on just sucks, and it makes the game not fun to play anymore. But on the other side of that coin, that's what makes fighting games so much fun, because every game you do win, it feels earned. All the improvements that you make, it's real. But for beginners, that little phase feels brutal when you're losing match after match after match. You're doing your combo trials, you're understanding neutral play, you're understanding all the fundamentals of a fighting game, but it feels like you're still not good enough. And that's the part where people just start to leave, because if they're not having fun, why would you keep playing the game?
Because every mistake that you make in a fighting game, you legit get exposed immediately, bro.
Like, it's actually insane. If you miss that fireball and they jump over, or you do like a mistime move and you whiff, dude, it's GG's, like you're done. And that's because you just made a mistake and you got exposed for it. You can't blame nobody but yourself, because like one wrong move can cost you your whole health bar. And here's something that most new players don't really realize. The hardest part of a fighting game isn't just reacting faster, it's knowing what you're even supposed to react to. Because yes, you can go on training mode and do all these combos for these different situations, but when it's actually time to apply those on an online match, you don't know when to use them. So it's almost like you're just mashing buttons and hoping to God that that 1-2 combo can get you through that whole match. Because every single character has dozens of attacks that have many different factors to them that you may not know how to deal with. You got special moves, you got some mix-ups, you got frame data. Like, bro, I still barely know what frame data even is. And to be fair, like, I am pretty new to fighting games, but still, like, dude, I'm still learning a lot too, man. You got things like command grabs, and some fighting games even have 30 plus characters. So you can imagine all of those characters have different moves that have some different factors in between them, and you are expected to learn all of those. So that means before you're even comfortable with your own character, you're expected to recognize 100 other characters. You are expected to understand and know what to do in hundreds of different situations. Veteran players that you see winning all these big competitions aren't just winning because they just have superhuman reflexes. They are winning because they've been through all these situations. They know what to do if this thing happens thousands and thousands and thousands of times, and for beginner players that feels unreachable. And that's only the beginning, because understanding a game is one thing, but actually controlling your character, doing the correct combos, doing the correct moves in different situations, and not just mashing buttons which have to panic is an entirely whole different challenge, man. There's a big misconception when it comes to fighting games that if you practice enough in training mode, you'll eventually get better at the game, which a part of that is true, but not better in a sense that you're ready to like play in tournaments and stuff like that. And once again, to be fair, it does help. Like, you learn your character better, you learn combos, you practice inputs, figuring out your character's best moves and some of your character's worst moves. But there is one big major problem when it comes to the training mode, and it's that the person isn't fighting back. In training mode, the character just sits there and it lets you do all those moves on it. But what most new players are frustrated with and have a problem with is when it's actually time to apply those. They feel like they can never get the combo off, and it honestly feels so frustrating, bro. Cause and mind you, I've been there and I'm still there. Like, guys, you don't understand. I bought this little gaming pad a couple days ago, and it feels like I'm relearning how to play Street Fighter. It feels like I'm completely relearning. Mind you, I used to be a motor control demon on my Xbox controller, but not anymore. It feels like I'm genuinely relearning how to play the whole game. Mind you, this is my first time playing on classic controllers. This is my first time playing on a gaming pad, so I don't really know what I'm doing, and it feels really frustrating because I'm just losing. And I know I can beat these players if I just hop back on motor control with my Xbox controller, but I don't want to do that. But for many other players, they're not me, and they're just gonna quit as soon as it feels like it's not worth it anymore. You feel me? And then there comes matchmaking. Games like Street Fighter are notorious for having pretty weird matchmaking, especially when it comes to ranked games. And there's some people that I know that are new to fighting games, and they don't know what they're doing, and they already in gold. Mind you, yes, I know it's not that high of a rank, but still, for someone who just picked up this game a week ago, already being in gold is pretty impressive, you know? So that person thinks that, wait, I'm getting pretty good, but realize there's levels to this, bro. So the whole point of matchmaking is to match you with someone with your similar skill level. But I know for most casual online matches, you just get paired with whoever you get. So whoever you get, that's who you're gonna fight. So you could be a whole new player going to get someone in Grandmasters, and you're gonna get destroyed because you don't know what you're doing. But in ranked matches, it's a little bit better. But still, you have a problem with people smurfing. People will legit make new accounts just to boost their ego and just to destroy people because they can't beat people in their own rank. So yeah, you're gonna go against a lot of smurfs. And there's another thing. It's like when people switch characters. So for example, games like Super Smash Bros, they have a point system, but each character that you have, they all vary in points depending how much you use them in online play. So I main Pyramithra, so like that's like my highest character. I'm gonna go against people with a higher skill level. But if I switch to a character that's say like Mario, smaller points because I barely use him, I'm gonna go against weaker players. So there's some games like that. Not all games, but that's an example. You know, sometimes you can get destroyed, and sometimes players will, you know, that are low ranked will get destroyed by these players that they think are new to the game, but in reality, they're just testing out a new character. And since they kind of know, you know, the fundamentals of the game better than you do, 9 times out of 10, they're most likely gonna beat you. And this is where fighting games become so personal and mentally destroying, because every defeat feels so personal, bro. Like I don't know about y'all, but like when I lose at a shooter game, or I'm losing to Overwatch, yes, I get mad. But when it comes to fighting games, it's like a different kind of mad, bro. Because in a fighting game, you just can't look at a scoreboard and see who's performing bad. It's, bro, if you lose it, that is your fault, bro. That's genuinely your fault, and that's so exhausting. So, also another topic about the community, and funny enough, the fighting game community, the people there are some of the most passionate people that I have ever met. I watched plenty of like documentaries about like these amazing pro players, and like, dude, they have so much love for the game, and it's honestly so amazing and sweet. You'll find countless guides for your character that you're trying to learn and how you should play them. We have Discord servers, but here's the problem. When you get advice from like a player in the fighting community, or like a YouTube video, they already assume that you know the controls. And I don't know about y'all, but like, I'm not really versed when it comes to reading numbers, because in some of the tutorials, they'll show you how to do the combo based off the numbers. And people, I don't know about you, once again, I don't know about y'all, but I'm not really good with that. I don't really understand that. So it feels kind of frustrating, kind of trying to learn a new combo. By the way, you don't really understand how to do it because it's in numbers. And then you get other advice like, oh, just learn data, or just practice your confirms more. But to a new player, once again, they don't know what that is. So they're hearing all this new terms that they don't know, and they're just gonna like, they get frustrated and they just like give up. I'm gonna be real with y'all for a second. I think this is like the real reason why most players quit. Most players quit fighting games not because they are impossible to learn. They quit because the progression of getting better isn't like instant. It's almost like a flow chart, kind of, you know? Like there's progress, or like you're doing good, but then boom, it goes down. Boom, it goes down, then it goes up. You start plateauing. You're not getting any better. And for that moment, players give up, because the moment they feel like they aren't getting better, because in a shooter game, you can like, if you play a shooter game for about a week, you can be a beast on that game, you feel me? But if you're playing a fighting game for a week, yeah, you kind of understand the fundamentals, but you're still not that good. Because in most other genres, you level up, you see your character get stronger, you see all these signs that you're getting better at the game. But in fighting games, you don't. You can spend 20 hours in training mode. Even you can spend 30, 40, it doesn't matter. You can spend as many hours as you want on a certain character in training mode, but it feels like you're getting nowhere with that character, bro. And then you might think, hey, if I practice more, maybe I'll get better. And so you do double the hours, but for some reason, you see nothing. You see no progress. You're plateauing. And the crazy thing is, like, you might have gotten better, you know, from that last week of playing, but guess what? Your opponents are getting better also. Your opponents are learning the game also. And especially if you get into a game pretty late, like Street Fighter, for example, dude, it's like your opponents, they already know what they're doing, and it feels like no matter what you do, you're not good enough. And I feel like for most players, when they feel like they see no progress, and they feel like there's no point for me to grind on this game because I'm not good enough, I'm getting destroyed and I'm not having fun, and mentally I'm exhausted, mentally I am getting frustrated. So what they do, they quit. And should we bash on those players that quit? No, we shouldn't, because, you know, sometimes fighting games aren't for everybody, and sometimes it takes you to play a fighting game to realize, hey, maybe I'm not up for this. But if you're still watching this video and you're playing that fighting game and you're getting frustrated, I feel like if I was you, just stick there. Just hold on a little bit longer. I promise you, you're gonna start winning a lot more games than you are losing, and you're gonna start having way more fun, especially if you have friends. But, this is gonna be the end of the video. Thanks for you guys for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I genuinely want to hear your comments about your stories about getting some fighting games, or your opinions on why people quit fighting games so early on. Like and subscribe. We're so close to 400 subscribers. I'm gonna try to be more consistent, but I just want to make sure I'm pumping out quality instead of quantity content. I don't want to make slop. So yeah, I'm sorry that I'm not making as much content, but I'll see you guys next time, and bye.